fresh out the oven.
What is cracking, everybody? It's Megapiemanphd here, and welcome to another look at my map video. This time for PD Farmageddon B2. Now, last time, most of the things for the map were pretty set in stone layout-wise. I got all that figured out in alpha, so I haven't changed a lot of the layout, and I didn't cover this particular map in alpha for the Look at My Map series because I wasn't sure if I was going to make something good enough to actually get this far. But we now have, if you saw the last video, you know that this map is based around a farm with pumpkins and its player destruction, and we now have a full-on pumpkin model. This pumpkin model was made by Square with textures by Blaholtzen, and I'm not entirely, or was it SediSocks who did this? I gotta look up the credits. I gotta look at the credits list. The credits list for this map has gone crazy. There are a lot of people who are now in the Farmageddon team. We haven't figured out a name yet. We don't have jackets yet. I'm kind of going with Team Awesome Sauce, but you know, don't quote me on that. Maybe we haven't figured it out. But okay, I did the layout and the detailing. Square did the monster pumpkin design and sculpt. Ducksink did the skeleton replacement for Scarecrows, which are in the map now. We'll see those a little bit later. FGD5 did a pickup truck, some other things, tractor, farm furniture, various other models. DatGmann, I'm using his resupply cabinet that he made last year for a synthetic event, made some haystacks, edited the harvester model through the animation in there with various other edits. SediSocks did the low-poly version of the pumpkin monster, did the original version of the combine harvester for the TF2 Emporium vehicle prop pack, and some other stuff in this map. Blaholtzen did custom prop textures, custom map textures, the skyblock signs, reskins, various concept art. Yes, this project had concept art, which is nuts. Fuzzymellow, who is now on this project, did the fixed construction light prop for this version, as well as some stuff, hopefully in the future. And I don't remember if I think yes. Yes, we still have some of Zeus 3005 stuff in here, such as the mirrored grain machine model and the Midwest Mills grain sack mirrored, wait, not mirrored, but the edit model for the Midwest Mills that he made for the Payload Midwest that I'm using in here for placeholders and stuff. So it's a big team. Also, some other people on the team that I don't want to talk about just yet because their stuff isn't exactly 100% ready yet. So I don't want to talk about it yet, but we're working on it. But yeah, there's a lot of differences. We got custom decals such as this, things over here in blue spawn to try to make it a bit more interesting than it was before. Red spawn was pretty good. Red spawn's got that nice farmhouse vibe that we were able to get through on the previous version. But we weren't really able to figure out what to do with blue spawn. It just felt kind of in comparison. So trying to branch out with the farm thing, and I threw some of Diva Dan's props and stuff in here from King of the Hill Slaughter, since Dan was kind enough to release those assets. I'm kind of throwing it in here, so it's a little bit of, it's not like a full-on slaughterhouse for blue spawn, but it's like a slaughterhouse area, and the main respawn room is like a break room, is the kind of vibe we're going for here, just to try to make blue spawn be a bit more interesting and make a bit more sense as something and not be as blah as it was before. So like we got this reskinned version of the chainsaw here. We've got all this meat going on in here. A big freezer thing here with a frozen engineer. Hello, sir. You are looking like you're having a bad day. These grinders here are actually, I believe these are by DatGmann. These are from the Agent Gun SFM video that he was part of making assets for. These are the actual grinders from the scene with the actual grinders in the meeting room. That is clipping through the side there. That needs to be fixed. But I kind of base this off of, if you ever played The Walking Dead, the Telltales of The Walking Dead, if you ever played that and you got to the dairy farm area, the back of the barn in the dairy farm is sort of what I tried to base this room off of. It's not like a full-on slaughterhouse factory kind of a thing, but it leans in that direction. Because we are on a farm here, as you can see, with all of the farm-looking stuff and corn and whatnot. So we kind of wanted to separate blue and red. Red is more agricultural, whereas blue is more livestock. Even though blue side has the corn maze, I don't know, it works. It works, it's fine, it's good, I like it, it works, it's perfectly fine. We also replaced the rocks here. Previously we had I had big rocks that I was using here to block sightlines and such. They've now been replaced with these haystacks. Now, while haystacks do happen in farms, they're generally more of either a older East Coast United States thing or more of an old school European thing. By the time the TF2 takes place, which is about mid to late 60s, early 70s, they probably would have done mostly normal square not hail bays. Hey, I'm trying to bale hay would be trying to bale hail would be difficult. It's a hay bale. Okay. Yeah, more square hay bales, possibly some circular hay bales by that time. But the haystack, it still fits. It still fits the farm theme. It fits well enough. Since there isn't an actual location the Farmageddon is taking place at, it's not like in the Midwest. It could be an East Coast farm. I don't know. It could be somebody made haystack just for the posterity of it, just because they wanted to. I don't know. It fits the farm better than just having big rocks in there. Because farms generally don't have big rocks. Mainly for the reason that they've been cleared out to use as either pasture or growing field land. Now, pastures, you can see some big rocks depending upon the particular farm, because livestock can go around rocks, but if you're going for more agricultural, which is kind of what we're doing here on blue, it's a little bit livestocky, but most of the map is agricultural focused, since we are dealing with vegetation trying to take over the farm with the giant pumpkin monster. It doesn't make sense to have big rocks in the middle of spaces, because it all would have been cleared out in order to either be pathways to move machinery around or to be used as fields. I know what I'm talking about. I've lived around farms. I've done farm work. It sucks. Okay, yeah, so we have hay bales here, replacing the rocks, which makes a bit more sense, at least in my opinion. Some texture changes, a couple of things hither and thither to try to make the map a bit more interesting and just generally look a bit better. Something I am a little bit worried about. Possibly it's optimization, but I think it'll be okay. I did have to change some of the layout here because when we made the pumpkin model, it's not exact to the placeholder brushes I was using. So the placeholder brushes, they stopped this big sight line all the way across here, but the pumpkin model sort of had a little bit of a sight line back here, and there wasn't much I could do to fix it. So, fix it with how it previously looked. So I pushed this pillar up and down, so it looks like a broken off pillar for this upper floor, which makes sense. As the pillar would go all the way down, originally would have gone all the way down to the bottom floor, but now it's all broken off because the monster pumpkin and all the vines and stuff going around that and whatnot. There's a gargoyle here! Thank you, Merasmus. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for that. Oh, look, there it is. It's right there in all its glory. Yeah, but that pillar going forward blocks this off, so we're still able to fully block that. Fully block that from snipers! And stuff. trying to remember, I think this, in the last version of the map, was up here. Moved it down here to sort of hide all of this toxic waste and whatnot. A little bit more, still kept the broken light and the glowing from the radiation, because I like that. The idea is that the farmer was using toxic radiation stuff to try to get his pumpkin to grow larger and be the Badlands' biggest pumpkin! Actually, speaking of locations, Badlands is an actual place, isn't it? So if it's Badlands' biggest pumpkin, then this farm would have to be in Badlands. Do they have farms in Badlands? The only Badlands that I know of, at least in the TF2 universe, is the map Badlands. I don't know if Two Fort takes place in the Badlands. I think Two Fort, the town of Two Fort in TF2 lore is in New Mexico. But I don't know where the Badlands is. Could a farm like this exist in New Mexico? I don't know. It's not real, so it can exist however the crap it wants to. Anyway, what was I talking about? I was talking about stuff and things. Also, changed this here to be a little bit more interesting. Blaholtzen had the idea of to try to get across how the combine harvester got up here. My original thought was a combine harvester got up there just simply by, you know, when a haystack wasn't here, went up here, went through this doorway, got rid of the doorway, because the doorways didn't really make a lot of sense on the side, but they went through the doorway, would have, you know, before all of this broke, would have just gone up here and parked like that, because it would have been a flatter area or something. But it made more sense to have something up here. We changed around the detailing back here to still make kind of sense in block viz, so it's still... It makes sense of there being a door, like there's a door and there's a path all the way out here that the Combine drove down, but it still blocks visibility so that everything doesn't render at once. Yeah, but we came up with this idea of this haystack, this hay spilled from this this broken loft area, since we've got these glowing green on here, sort of like, and it's a map hazard, so it's sort of like the Combine came to life and is being possessed by the pumpkin. I don't know. It's what we're going with. So when it was coming through here and burst through the doors, it messed with some of the beamwork here, which caused this loft to sort of break and all of this hay to spill out all over the place. And I'm very, very happy with how this came out. I wasn't entirely sure if my skills would be enough to pay the bills here, but a combination of displacement work, lots of displacement work being a real pain in the butt, and some really well-made textures from Blaholtzen, we were able to figure that out. I don't know if that was that in B1? Was it like this in Beta 1? I don't think it was, but I can't remember. I'm losing my mind here. But hopefully it's going to work. And we got this gate is actually a redone version of the gate from Meet the Soldier. CP Granary got an update with a permanent reference to Rick May, who's the voice actor of the soldier, who's unfortunately passed away this year. And it added this gate with the heads on it from Meet the Soldier, as well as that the bronze statue of the soldier that was around in May, that they were doing for like an event in May. But since May's over, that event's not happening anymore. They removed all the bronze soldiers from every map, but made a specific thing on CP Granary, because that is actually the map where Meet the Soldier takes place on. Anyway, this gate is based off of the gate with the heads on it. We decided to edit it, take the version from the SFM beta files, edit it a little bit to remove the heads and remove all the blood and guts and whatnot, because that wouldn't make sense to have it in multiple places on one map and always look the same like that. I'll remove the eye that was hidden in the crack, because it was weird. Made some LODs for it, and now can use it as a map prop. And the reason why I wanted to do that was because it adds to some better variety of what we got going on here for gates. Now, you want gates so that it looks like there's ways for vehicles and people to get in and out of an area, but previously all of the gates were basically just this prop. everywhere. This sign thing. And it doesn't make sense to have it all over the place. For one thing, there's nothing on the sign. It's just a blank sign because I think you're supposed to put, like, do I have any of these over here? Like, I think there's some over here. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. These. Probably should put some of these on blue side. These signs, supposed to be on those gates, and had gates, like, all over the dang place. But it didn't make a ton of sense to have the same gate everywhere for a sign that didn't exist, so I wanted to replace it with something, and I believe DatGmann was the one who worked on these, and they look good. They look good. Did a very, very good job with that. Anything else that I need to talk about? Added these chicken coops. These are based off of the poster for Chicken Run. I specifically based these coops off of the coops on that just because I wanted to, and it was one thing I thought of, like, okay, what do chicken coops look like? Like actual real ones that people use on a farm. If you have a chicken coop in your backyard, it can look like just about anything, be a shed or be fancy, whatever, just be a small building. But if you want ones that are actually on a farm, generally they have a basic style to them. Most chicken farms nowadays don't really use coops. They have these really big, long buildings that are filled with chickens, and they smell awful. Yeah, and I've been in those. They're things, but this is back in the 60s and whatnot, and not a factory farm, but like just a small side farm. So, yeah, made these chicken coops based off of the ones from Chicken Run poster. And Square wanted to do something with these. I can't exactly remember what in the world they wanted to do with it, but I made them. They're in the map now. So they add at least some semblance of the possibility of livestock existing in the map. I talked about blue side being more about livestock and red side being more about agriculture, but if you look at the detailing, the livestock of these fake cows and the chicken coops is on red side, and the corn for the agriculture is on the blue side. There's also some cows, but not as many. I don't know, maybe it's fine, whatever. Who cares? Nobody will notice. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Too much work to do, not enough time, don't need to change and worry about every little tiny detail. Okay, anything else we need to talk about? I don't think so. I think that's pretty much everything for now. I am sort of worried about optimization, but we'll have to see how things go with the test for Beta 2, and then whenever we get a Beta 3... Probably should lower that light lower the brightness of that light, and that's a really thick wire to have right there. But whenever Beta 3 comes out, we'll continue with that. And anyways, thank you very much for watching. I've been Megapiemanphd. Let me know what you think about the map in either the comment section of this video. Oh, I didn't show the Scarecrows! CL, draw HUD 1. Let's just spawn in here. 4 players, cancel. 1. It didn't work. Why did that not work? CL MP waiting for players. Players cancel. 1. There we go. 2, 1. Please tell me the Scarecrows are in this compile. Please tell me the Scarecrows are in this compile. Please tell me the Scarecrows are in this compile. Come on, Scarecrows! I've also been messing around with the icons. Now, a weird thing for icons for player destruction is apparently that needs to be fixed. Apparently there's a very common bug where the icons don't want to pack into the map, or if they're packed into the map, they still don't show up for people who download it, or like if I were to set this to SV Pure 2, for some reason they wouldn't show up. I don't know why that happens, but I talked to some people who've made player destruction maps, and they said that's just a common thing. There we go! There's the Scarecrows! Those were made by Ducksink. Actually, just pick it up so I don't kill them right now. Those were made by Ducksink, and they are our skeleton replacement to try to fit the map a little bit better than just skeletons. Makes more sense for than to be running around on a farm opposed to just having skeletons there. And they still do drop the ducks, which will give you 2 points instead of the normal 1. We don't have any Gibbs for them as of yet, but yeah, there you go for that. Or at least don't have the Gibbs in as of yet. But there you go. Those are the Scarecrows. They are pretty cool, in my opinion. Now, they basically are just skeletons. They act like skeletons. But the way that I messed around with the skeletons previously has made it so that they do have different health. This hasn't changed at all. This area is still exactly the same. They do have different health than skeletons normally do, and they also, of course, they drop stuff, so they're not entirely like original skeletons. They are a little bit different, and I feel that there's another gargoyle. I feel that the change in model is actually a good thing, to be not just a reskin, but to also get across that they act a little bit differently than normal skeletons, because their health is a little bit more, and they drop points, opposed to normal skeletons, which do not. And now that TF2 had an update where it changed... I know, TF2 had an update, it's crazy, but it changed how custom things can be saved into a file. Instead of having to do the massive workaround I had to do last year for a synthetic event in order to get the Butler to work as a reskin of the Skeleton King, here, all I gotta do is pack the reskin into the map as the file name of the Skeleton Sniper, which is what is used for the skeletons, for the TF Zombie entities for the skeletons in TF2, and override that, and it will not only will it show up for this map, but it also will not show up for other maps, because TF2 now checks BSP files, which is the map files. It checks them between map change, whether or not it is something custom or should be reverted to what's in stock. So, right now we have Scarecrows here, but if you were to go to a map like Hightower event, they would just be back to skeletons, because that map doesn't have the Scarecrow model in the BSP file, so it reverts to the stock version, which is just the sniper skeleton. I believe that's how that works. Still playing around with all of the things that we can do with that, since it's a newer thing added to TF2, but hopefully this works well enough that I don't have to go through all of the nonsense I had to last year of messing with pre-caching and numbers and bleh, to try to get the reskin of the Butler to work. But yeah, there you go. There is Beta 2 for this map. And Beta 3, we've already started working on Beta 3 a little bit. But we'll see how things go with this, and I'll let you know when Beta 3 is out. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Megapiemanphd, and I will talk to you guys later. That truck is popping in. That needs fixed.